What's up, YouTube? This is my commentary video. I'm going to be diving into some of the things that I should be doing better as a tennis player and self-critiquing myself on, my overall tennis game. So one thing I've been trying to work on is my return of serve on the forehand side. I kind of went for it there. Obviously it was out, but there are some days where I do connect with the ball better and other days where I don't. It's my timing. I have a huge backswing, so that's something I sort of developed in the beginning stages of my tennis. It's a bad habit, but at least I'm aware of it now, and I'm gonna try to, improve on that. So one thing I focused on this day was my service motion. You guys are gonna see that I'm gonna be making a lot of double faults. It's a new motion that I'm trying to do, so I'm still getting used to it. I'm still trying to iron out all the wrinkles and just kind of settle into that new service motion. Yeah. So what have I changed with my service motion? Definitely the base of support. I used to have a more narrow stance. If you guys have seen my other videos, I have this very dancer-like stance, which, fun fact, I was a dancer for many years. I was a contemporary dancer, so that's never going to leave me. That technique is never going to go away. I've noticed it more, especially now that I'm watching myself on video. But there are moments when people are like, "Oh yeah, your groundies are very pretty." I'm like, pretty? What do they mean by my groundies are very pretty? I know they're talking about my ground strokes, but now actually watching my videos, I'm like, oh my god, that's what they're talking about. It's that dancer technique is just never gonna go away. So but yeah, one thing I still want to improve on with my service motion is getting lower. I don't get as low as I want to. I want to use my legs a lot more. Now that I have a bigger base of support, I want to push off and send that energy forward. I kind of just jump in place, but I want to jump and move forward at the same time. So that's something that I want to work on. I really hate hitting lets. They annoy me so much. Or just hitting the net in general. Who doesn't? But I hate it more when it's on my backhand side, because in my head I feel like I should not be doing that. I've already been playing, I want to say, for almost 9 years already. So it's just me being hard on myself. I'm too experienced. I should not be making mistakes like that. But everyone's human, so it's gonna happen. So hitting a couple of flat serves there, which I've been trying to do a bit more. So the third thing I'm trying to focus on is my finishing a point, at the net. I'm very comfortable being in the baseline, but there are opportunities that you should be taking as a tennis player, rather than spending, rather than doing a 20-shot rally in the baseline, you could have done a 5-shot rally and just finished it at the net. But I hesitate. So I try to come in. I know I should be coming in, but I just hesitate and I don't finish the point at the net. Bad technique there. Again, I'm not the greatest volleyer. It doesn't come to me naturally, so I really have to think about those and, you know, what to do with my racket. So Carlton is doing a really good job of moving me around, and I'm doing a really good job of just returning it back to him. I'm not really right here. I'm being a little more aggressive, but in that point before, I'm kind of just like giving the ball. I'm returning it back to the center, you know, just very comfortable. Going for a little more there. And just adding variety there, you know, adding a drop shot, which is the fourth thing I want to work on. So what do we say? Number one was, what was number one? Number one was, oh, my serve, which I'm still working on, but it's improving. Number two is my forehand return, my return to serve on the forehand side. Number three is finishing at the net, and number four is what we just talked about. Yeah, something I want to be more of a dynamic player. I don't want to be so one-dimensional, and that's just me being, you know, hard on myself. I want to add more variety to my game. I feel like I hit such clean shots that it just makes it easier on my opponent. The best example I could think of is Maria Sharapova to Serena. You know, why can't Maria ever beat Serena? You know, obviously Maria is just not as powerful and as skilled as Serena. But there was an interview that I saw with Serena, and she basically said that Maria's game just matches up so well with hers. And I believe, let me know what you think, comment. But I believe that it's just because Maria's such a clean hitter that it just makes it easier for Serena to blast the ball. You know, you gotta add variety, you gotta add drop shots, you gotta add slices. If you guys remember in the Australian Open final, one of the last ones with Maria, she was adding drop shots, and every single time she did it, it worked. I think it really got Serena by surprise. She's just so used to having those long rallies, those clean shots, those clean ground strokes from Maria, that she was sort of surprised that Maria was giving her some drop shots. So adding variety. I really don't hit slices. I'm not comfortable with them, but again, this is practice. You have to make your errors now, you know. You need to be comfortable with losing. It's okay. You know, it's not a real game. You gotta make those errors now before you actually play those matches. Easier said than done, right? Because nobody likes to lose, so. So late on that. There's just so many things, you know. Another thing I notice is my racket preparation, you know. I don't really prep fast enough on both sides, actually. It's funny, my backhand can react later and still work. I'm just more confident on that side. But if it's my forehand, that example there, it doesn't work. You know, either the ball flies on me long or it goes into the net. Nice close at the net from Carlton there. So at this point, I'm trying to, you know, give a little bit more. In the beginning, I always kind of want to give about 80%. Then, you know, just crank it up to at least 90, 95. I don't want to get too tired in the beginning. You know, tennis is all about endurance as well. I usually play 3 setters. I prefer to play 5 if possible. It really depends on who I'm playing with, you know, if it even gets to that point. But endurance is definitely a huge factor when it comes to playing tennis. So again, just really picking on my forehand. I have no trunk rotation. You know, there's no shoulder turn. There's no trunk rotation. I try to do that unit turn that I see all these top players like Novak, Rafa, Andy. You know, all those top players. Those guys, they do a really good job of, you know, having that classic unit turn. You know, using that free arm to help with their shoulder and trunk rotation. Really getting those obliques involved in pushing that ball forward. That's something I don't do enough of on that forehand side. And in the long run, it's not good for your body. Puts a lot of strain on just the upper part of your body when you should be using both upper and lower, you know, extremities. Not ready for that. Racket head. I hear it all the time. Racket head up, you know, get ready. You know, do that split set. But, you know, in real time, it's just everything's going like a million miles an hour for me. So I have to just relax and just try to get the ball, you know, try to get the racket on the ball. So I was able to finish a forehand at the net. See, every time I come into the net, except maybe for like 1 or 2 occasions, I've been able to close it out. So that's something I want to add more to. Even if I miss, just come into the net. So here I'm finally starting to just take my time, not going for a winner on the return, and it pays off. But at least it's more important to me at least to just start the point rather than just go for the winner, you know, right off the bat. It just starts stacking up on those unforced errors. You don't want unforced errors. Not too many. That's one thing I really try to think about too is, did I lose because I made unforced errors, or did I lose because my opponent was just too good? They were just hitting winners. And it's 50-50 for me. Sometimes I play a little too conservatively, and you kind of have to be a little more courageous on the bigger points. So I try to do that. Sometimes it goes in my favor, sometimes it doesn't, but the bigger the risk, the bigger the gain sometimes. So I'm noticing myself going like back and forth between my old service motion and my new service motion. It's hard because I have to actively think about, my body mechanics, what I'm doing. So it's coming and going. I was a little bit better here at a drop shot and close it out at the net. So there you have it, guys.